Sorry about the technical issues, obviously. Unfortunately, you can't see me, but it's fine, we'll work with it. And I'm here today to share a bit about my background with you all and talk about my career in the retail sector and how it has led me to where I am today. I will also be explaining about the current company I work for, which is Jobs for Teens, and how we can help young people and employees on their journey. So firstly, I'm going to start by telling you what interested me to actually work into the retail sector. So firstly, I was about 17 and I was studying at college, working part-time in a restaurant, and I decided retail would be a good option for me as it was flexible hours, it offered weekend work, evening work, half days, and it would go work around my college. So I decided to start looking on websites, on job search places such as Indeed, Total Jobs and Reed, to see what options were out there in retail. And when I was applying, most applications was literally just you needed to upload your CV with a covering letter. And I applied for a couple, and I eventually heard back from Pandora about a sales assistant role, asking me would I like to come into an interview. So obviously I ended up going into the interview, but I'll explain more about that in a minute. But what I'd say is when you're applying, most of them was just a covering letter and obviously your CV on the application, but some did obviously involve like a questionnaire, find out a bit more about you. I can remember, I don't know if Boots is still the same because obviously it's a good couple of years ago now, 5 years ago, but it was like, it asked you like a mini questionnaire, but most are just your CV and covering letter. So if you've always make sure you've got a covering letter and CV up to date. That's probably the most you're going to need for retail. So I'm now going to go on to talk about what qualifications and skills and experience I needed to get the job. With retail, I'd probably say when applying for that specific role at Pandora, I needed 3 or more A to C grades, preferably including English and maths, if not both, at least one. I know it's now not A to C and it's numbers, but I'm not too sure what that is. But it's A to C. It was more, I'd say with experience, it was more based on the person's specifications, such as your abilities, your professional approach, your passion, your confidence. So I wouldn't say you need previous experience to go into retail. You can be expecting you not to have it. But just, obviously, I'm going to tell you about the interview process now, but it's all about the way you deliver yourself. So we'll go on to now, like I say, about the interview process and how it was for me at Pandora, and I think it's quite similar for everybody. But the interview at Pandora was fairly simple. I was asked to come in for a face-to-face interview. It was with 2 managers. The interview lasted approximately around half an hour. Questions were more focused on like my personality, the brand, what I could bring to the company. They asked me what could I give examples of maybe like working in a team. So it was just more questions like that, just to give you an idea on questions. I remember the management being very welcoming, feeling the interview ran smoothly. I've also spoke to other friends who worked in retail and they said the same, that's kind of what you're expecting. So I left the interview and then I was told it'd be in touch over the next couple of days, which I think is mainly how most interviews go. They'll say they'll be in touch over the next couple of days. It's very rare that they'll offer you the job there and then, so don't be disheartened, just wait for the phone call. I then remember receiving the phone call and they asked me to come in for an induction day the following Saturday. After I completed the induction day, I was then offered the sales assistant role and was given a start date. Sometimes they won't do an induction day, not all employers do an induction day, but what I would say is if they do an induction day, just remember that it's your time to shine, so make a good impression because, you're most likely then going to get the job. I'm now going to go on to say how I prepared for an interview. So that's how I prepared for that interview, I would always advise in any interview that you make sure you research the company and find out as much as you can about the products and what their expectations and values are as a company. This always makes a brilliant impression on employers. Love it when the candidate has done the research, because it just gives you that head start. You get a couple of brownie points because you've done your research, and it shows you're committed to the role you've applied for, and you're not just applying for anything. To make sure you're showing a professional approach, I would also always make sure you're looking smart dress, smart appearance, and I would always advise that when going to an interview, just give yourself plenty of time to travel, because you don't know what's going to go on that day, and honestly, it doesn't look good if you're late. So I'd always have plenty of time to travel and at least arrive 20 minutes prior to your interview slot. I would always advise that. If you've not, can we go on to the next slide now, Caroline, if that's okay?
Yeah.
So what skills I developed whilst working in retail? Whilst working at Pandora, I developed lots of skills, but the main skill was obviously customer service, dealing with the general public. I also learned how to work well under pressure, as it was a fast-paced environment, which you can probably imagine at Pandora it was very busy at certain times of the year, your Mother's Day, your Christmas. But I would always say retail is always busy at Christmas, so you're going to learn how to work well under pressure, and you know it's definitely good. I learned how to communicate with all different types of customers, staff members in a professional manner, and also I learned how to work in a team, because retail is obviously a team effort. They were the main skills, but I learned a lot in retail. Life skills you just pick up, because, like I say, you're working with the general public, so you pick up a lot. I'm now going to talk about what training I received whilst working in retail. When I first started at Pandora, I went on 2 training courses. They were both outside the workplace. One was called Welcome to Pandora, and the other one was called Pandora's Way of Selling. The courses were to learn all about the history of Pandora and the products and what I would be selling. I also received shop floor training, where I shadowed someone for the first couple of shifts of starting at Pandora to learn the tills, obviously where everything was kept, and just see the way the shop run. And I think that's in most retail, because you're not expected to know it. You'll always be given training, but throughout my 5 years at Pandora, we offered road shows, we had an online training course where we learned all about the new stuff that was coming out, and yeah, so I'd say retail, you're always going to be given good training, because it's all about your customer service, and you need to know the way their values and stuff work. So that was my training, but I'd always say you receive good training in retail. I'm now going to tell you a bit what a typical day involved in retail for me at Pandora. So a typical day at Pandora was greeting the customers, making sure all the jewellery on display was correct, straight and clean for when the customers were coming into the shop. I had to help customers with any inquiries they had, show the customers projects they wanted to see and let them try them on. If they wasn't sure, maybe recommend other products similar. I had to make sure I was hitting my daily targets. That was like a typical day, but I'd say a typical day in retail is just your customer service. You just need to make sure you're giving excellent customer service, and that's all they'll ask of you. And playing a big part in a team, obviously playing teamwork is a big part of retail. So I'm now going to talk to you about how my career progressed and where my career has taken me now, so where you can sort of go after retail. I decided after 5 years working at Pandora it was time to start looking for other options and career paths. I'd worked 4 years full time and needed I needed a change and a new challenge. As much as I love working at Pandora and I've built so many relationships with customers and staff members, it was time to start exploring new options. And I wanted to use my skills that I developed in retail and put them to good use in a different environment. So when I saw my role that I'm currently in now advertised, I thought this would be a perfect opportunity to put them to good use, as my job now is business development manager, and this involves building and creating strong client relationships and working in a team. So there's lots of different paths you can go down from retail, like I know Caroline mentioned before, but honestly there's so many. So retail is a good starting point and it opens so many doors for you that you just wouldn't even think. So that, obviously, as much as I can really say about Pandora and my retail experience, obviously I'm happy to tell you more if you wanted to contact me separate, but I'm now going to go on to tell you more about Jobs for Teens and what we do and how we can help you. If you can just pop to the next slide now, Caroline.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you how we help young people. So Jobs for Teens is a subscription service for staff recruitment. So Jobs for Teens, we help young people find employment. We are passionate about matching local teens with local jobs. We're a Stockport-based company, obviously great in Manchester, but we actually do help teenagers all over the UK. We are national. We currently have over 20,000 registered candidates with us, which are already registered. So the way that means they're on our database. So as soon as any jobs come up in our local area, we've been in touch and you'll be the first to know. So all you have to do is literally pop online on www.jobsforteens and register with us under the teenager section. And it will ask you some basic information, but it just enables us to contact you as soon as any jobs come up in your local area. We here at Jobs for Teens will help with any interview inquiries you have, any CV inquiries, any employment inquiries you have. We literally can help young people from the age of 13 up until, I'd say, even 19, 20, 21, even into work. And we literally, all you need to do is literally register with us, and then you would find out, you'd be the first to know about any job. We help with we cover full-time, part-time, apprenticeships, traineeship, work experience. We can help with whatever sort of you're looking for. For an employer side, we can help if you're looking to employ young people in your business. We have thousands of teenagers looking for work. I know people say, oh, teenagers aren't looking for work, but we have the proof that they are. We have at least 30 new registrations a day. So yeah, from Jobs for Teens side, I'd just head over to our website, register, and we can help you from there. All our jobs are also listed under our website, and it says view current jobs, and you can see all the live jobs that we have, and we add new ones all the time. As soon as we've had some, we'll send you out an email to say there's some new jobs advertised.